I fell for a charming university professor who taught feminist theory and preached about uplifting marginalized voices. Until I found his sister locked in the basement of the house he claimed was just for show. He was 38, a tenured professor at a top liberal arts college, famous for his viral lectures about ableism and the importance of centering disabled voices in academia. We met at a campus talk about neurodiversity, and for 5 months he was the most thoughtful, intentional man I'd ever known. He listened to every word I said, celebrated my small wins at my publishing job, and talked endlessly about how we need to create safe spaces for people who are often silenced by the world. I ignored every red flag, writing them off as academic eccentricity. He never let me come to his primary house, saying he lived in a small campus apartment and the big house was just an investment property he rented out. He never mentioned his sister except once, saying she was nonverbal and lived with full-time care. He had a separate phone plan for a number he never let me see, saying it was for his research assistants. He got furious when I asked to visit the investment house, saying the tenants valued their privacy. He always left our weekend trips early on Sundays, saying he had to check in on the property. That Sunday, he'd told me he was going to the campus library to grade papers, but his location was still at the big house 45 minutes away. I drove over, thinking maybe he'd lied to surprise me with a weekend getaway, and used the spare key he'd hidden under the mat for the tenants to get in. The house was empty, silent, except for a faint banging coming from the basement. The first reversal hit when I unlocked the basement door and found a woman in her mid-30s, sitting on a mattress on the floor, nonverbal, rocking back and forth, with a communication tablet next to her. That was his sister, the one he'd said was in full-time care. The second reversal landed when I picked up the tablet and saw the messages she'd typed over and over. He won't let me leave. He says I'm a burden. He lies about me to everyone. He wasn't caring for her. He'd locked her in the basement, hiding her from the world so no one would know the ableist monster behind the feminist lectures. The third reversal hit when I read the rest of the messages. He'd stolen her disability checks for 10 years, used them to buy the house and his fancy car, and told everyone she was incapable of managing her own money. He'd even written a paper about supporting nonverbal autistic adults, using her life as a case study without her consent, and won an award for it. The fourth reversal hit when she saw me and typed, "Please help me," on the tablet, her hands shaking. I called the police, I called Adult Protective Services, I told everyone I could what he'd done. The fifth and final reversal destroyed me. He told the police and APS that I was a disgruntled former student who'd been stalking him for months, that I'd broken into his house and manipulated his sister, who had severe cognitive impairment and couldn't tell reality from fiction. APS closed the case, the police dismissed my report, and the university put him on paid leave, only to reinstate him 3 months later with a promotion. He still teaches his feminist theory lectures, still wins awards for his work on disability justice. She still lives in that basement. I still get emails from him threatening to sue me for defamation if I ever talk about what happened again. I thought I was giving her a voice. I only made her prison smaller.